Go.
Welcome to your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. It's Thursday, November 10th, and we have the latest local news for you today, including a burglary investigation in Ridgefield, a local student on Jeopardy, and much more. Frank Granito joins us with a Nutmeg Sports update, a look back on this day in history, and the forecast. He's going to wear many hats today. It's also Front Page Thursday, so John Kovach joins me to take a look at the front pages of our HAN Network newspapers this week. But first, on to today's news. The Ridgefield Police Department is investigating a burglary that took place at the mobile gas station on Danbury Road around 3 a.m. Tuesday. According to Police Captain Jeff Kreitz, an unknown individual entered the store and stole an undetermined amount of cigarettes as well as a small quantity of cash. The suspect is described as a shorter male with a stocky build, wearing black pants, a black shirt, gloves, and a full black ski mask. Police responded to that commercial burglary alarm around 4:43, according to Kreitz. That incident is currently under investigation, and anyone who might have information is encouraged to contact the Ridgefield Police at 203-431-2794. And a Derby man has been charged with repeatedly sexually assaulting a Shelton teenage girl at a house in Trumbull. The Connecticut Post reports that 28-year-old Jamie Rivera was charged Wednesday with second-degree sexual assault as well as fourth-degree sexual assault, among other charges. Police said the victim, who is now 17, complained that Rivera, who is a relative of hers, first began sexually assaulting her back in 2014 in her grandmother's house. Police also said the teen was later treated for a sexually transmitted disease that they believe she contracted from Rivera. Derby police are investigating in connection, and Shelton police are also involved in that investigation. And an attempted burglary near the northern end of Stratford is under investigation by police. Stratford police said the attempted residential burglary occurred on November 1st. Police said the person pictured was seen at a residence on Tavern Rock Road at the time of the incident, and police are asking for help to identify him. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Stratford Police Department at 203-381-6902. And the Hamden Fire Department battled a blaze at a home on Choate Avenue yesterday. No one in the home was injured, but Hearst, Connecticut media reports that 3 firefighters were taken to Yale New Haven Hospital after receiving burns. They were all later released. And Darien police are investigating a former Darien resident for the theft of business checks from an ex-girlfriend. The 52-year-old victim told police she had been dating the suspect for about 4 years, but they had recently broken up. She believed he had stolen 2 checks from her, valued at $5,000. She said a similar incident had occurred in December, but was not reported to the authorities. Police followed up with the business's bank and are still attempting to contact that 53-year-old suspect. And in some happier Darien news, St. Luke's school student and Darien resident Porter Bauman gave a dramatic performance Wednesday night in the Jeopardy teen tournament. Porter, who told host Alex Trebek in the interview segment that his basketball team won a championship with his position being the tall player, was animated throughout the show, holding the buzzer in front of him and pushing it excitedly when he wanted to answer a question. Porter was in the center position of 3 contestants with 2 female students. According to the New Canaan Advertiser, Porter played aggressively, answering many questions, some right, some wrong, and he had the great fortune to find the 3 daily doubles in the game, allowing him to double his score if he risked it all. But there's so much more on that story by Michael Katarivas at ncadvertiser.com. Let's throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Plenty of sunshine today and an expected high of 55 degrees. There'll be a light breeze and some morning clouds that will pass before clear skies and cool temperatures later on this afternoon. Clear skies this evening and overnight, and we'll see temperatures drop all the way down to the mid-40s before Friday morning. Friday will bring plenty more sunshine during the day and comfortable temperatures that will reach up into the low 60s. There'll be some high winds earlier on tomorrow, but those should die down before Friday evening, where we'll have 6 FCX football games getting underway, including our game of the week from Tiger Hollow between Greenwich and Ridgefield. Saturday, temperatures are not expected to reach into the 50s, a high of only 49. It will be very windy throughout the day, partly sunny, and it is going to feel much colder than it actually is. Mostly clear on Sunday night, though, and temperatures down into the low 30s before what should be a warmer and milder Sunday afternoon. That's going to do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, not too bad, Frank. Thank you. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to take a look back on this day in history. We have a Nutmeg sports update and some more local news, including Ridgefield High students rallying around a teacher. We'll be back with more after this. Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Hi, this is Leo Carl from Carl Chevrolet in New Canaan. And you've heard me talk about the Chevy Volt for years. The new model gets 53 miles on EV charge daily, plus 420-mile full range. But don't take my word for it. You need to come in and test drive the Volt yourself. Visit us at 261 Elm Street in New Canaan or online at carldirect.com.
As you're getting back to your regular schedules, we're excited to get back to doing what we do best, offering you the freshest seasonal fare and all the ingredients for a healthy start to school. So shop Walter Stewart's for everything fresh, from A, apples to Z, zucchini, and from cotton candy grapes to back to nature all-natural snack bags. We save you time by stocking all of your favorite back-to-school essentials under one roof. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com. At Whip Blow Dry Bar and Salon of Ridgefield, it's all about creating a hassle-free, high-end experience for the entire family. Open 7 days a week, the makeup and hairstyle salon on Governor Street has it all. From color services, men's haircuts with a complimentary microbrew, affordable kids cuts, and more. And our blowout package includes a shampoo, scalp massage, blowout of your choice, and a lipstick application done by a celebrity makeup artist. Download the Whip Salon app to view the styles and book appointments. Get more information at whipsalon.com, 203-442-6444, or find Whip on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
Discover a world of wellness in the heart of New Canaan. Halo Studios, New Canaan's first collaborative wellness center, offers you the freedom to choose from the best and latest health, fitness, and wellness options. Inside Halo Studios, you'll find all the wellness experts you need at places like Halo Fitness, Priority Wellness, and Sama Yoga Center. Come by for a free wellness assessment, open 7 days a week at 45 Grove Street. For more information, visit halostudios.com or call 203-594-9909. Welcome back to this November 10th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski and Frank Granito filling in for Donald Ang today with a look back on this day in history. Frank, I know it's your favorite segment.
I think Don got out of here because he stumped us all today. Didn't want to handle the pressure. But let's start in 1865 with Major Henry Wirz, the superintendent of a prison camp in Andersonville, Georgia, is hanged, becoming one of only 2 American Civil War soldiers executed for war crimes. The conditions at Andersonville were notoriously horrible, and 13,000 of the 40,000 soldiers sent there died there. Wirz, though, had numerous defenders, including Robert E. Lee, who pointed out that the Union blockade had prevented Wirz from acquiring food and supplies, that Union leaders had denied Wirz's request to exchange prisoners to alleviate overcrowding, and that Wirz had even offered parole to all of Andersonville's prisoners if the Union Navy would simply lift the blockade long enough to get prisoners loaded onto ships. Interestingly, Wirz's gallows were eradicated at the site of the present-day Supreme Court building. Next we go to 1871. Henry Morton Stanley locates missing explorer and missionary Dr. David Livingstone in Ujiji near Lake Tanganyika, famously greeting him with the words, "Dr. Livingstone, I presume?" Stanley is credited with finding him, but Livingstone was actually never lost. He simply wasn't interested in contact with Europe. Next, we fast forward over 100 years to 1975. The 729-foot-long ore carrier Edmund Fitzgerald sinks during a storm on Lake Superior, killing all 29 crew on board. It remains the largest ship ever lost on the Great Lakes. Folk singer Gordon Lightfoot's song immortalized the wreck, but the song itself has been changed several times, as Lightfoot has periodically updated the song's lyrics to reflect new research into why the ship went down. And now we go to 1983 for this.
It's all here, all running in 640K and totally flexible. No? This is real time.
80 megahertz.
Now, here we have 8 copies of 1, 2, 3, and Multiplan, and D-Base, and multiple copies of all these things. And we can run them, move them around, look at the data. All the old applications run. And now, the retail package of Microsoft Windows. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's here.
And that was Bill Gates in 1983 introducing Windows 1.0 at a company meeting. The product was actually poorly received, with critics complaining that it required too much mouse input at a time when using a mouse was still a new experience for most computer users. Windows 1.0 would be superseded 2 years later by the company, continued to provide support and updates for it until 2001. I'm Frank Granito, and that is going to do it for your look back on this day in history.
All right, good job, Frank. Now I'm going to ask you to put your sports director hat on and tell us what's going on.
Thank you. And of course, Kate, we had the first round of girls soccer for the Class L state tournament beginning yesterday after some miscommunications with seeding at the beginning of the week. There were several FCAC teams that came away big winners on the day. And let's start with number 3 Ridgefield and a big win over their first round opponent, East Hartford, coming away on top 5-1. The Tigers will now play against number 19 Trumbull, who knocked off number 14 Darien 3-0 yesterday from the home of the Blue Wave. That game will be played tomorrow at Tiger Hollow at 2 o'clock, with Ridgefield hosting the Eagles. Fairfield Ward rocked number 15 West Haven 5-0 to advance to the second round. The Mustangs now find themselves matched up against undefeated number 2 Suffield. West Hill was a winner in another shutout game. The Vikings ended Danbury's season by a final of 2-0. West Hill will play at Cheshire tomorrow afternoon. The Rams knocked off Fairfield Ludlow 1-0 in their first round game. Wilton, a winner over E.O. Smith 1-0. The Warriors will travel to number 4 Enfield on Friday. Number 9 Staples sent the number 24 team New Canaan home packing for the season with a 3-0 win. The Wreckers will host Brian McMahon in round 2. And the Senators, the number 25 seed, the biggest winners on the day, pulling off the biggest upset with a first-round victory over number 8 Newtown, 2-1. The Senators now the highest remaining seed remaining in the tournament. Congratulations to all of the teams that advanced to the next round in the state tournaments. For a complete recap and look back at all the action in the states, as well as a preview of this weekend's football schedule, tune into Nutmeg Sports with myself and Kevin Coleman this afternoon at 2 o'clock. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Let's send it back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, getting back to local news, Ridgefield High School students are signing a petition to help reinstate suspended Latin teacher Dan Bowen. The petition, which was posted on change.org Wednesday, has collected 278 signatures and will be delivered to Principal Stacy Gross when it reaches the goal of 500 supporters. The petition reads in part that Mr. Bowen is a phenomenal teacher, and the students of Ridgefield High School want to let the school know how much we learn from him. According to a Facebook post by Robbie Sharp, the teacher was suspended indefinitely. After a reported incident at the high school on October 27th, the press asked Dr. Gross and Superintendent Karen Baldwin whether Bowen used inappropriate language around students and if he would be disciplined. At the time, Dr. Baldwin said the Ridgefield Public Schools cannot comment on confidential personnel-related matters. And a 19-year-old Ansonia resident was released by Reading police without being charged after he was trespassing at a home on Charlie Hill Road on Wednesday around 4 p.m. Police say the man was at home where he was not supposed to be that Wednesday when he ran from the home. He was apparently at the house of a 16-year-old Reading girl with whom he'd previously had a relationship. The young man ran into the woods near the home, so police called in a canine unit from Ridgefield to find him. The canine dog tracked the man to a different home in the neighborhood where the homeowner told police he had given the Ansonia man a ride after he had knocked on the door and asked for it. Police then tracked that 19-year-old to his home in Ansonia and released him without any charges. And finally, when people think of Thanksgiving, certain images come to mind: turkey, football, the parade, and pies. And one Monroe resident is on a mission to make sure every family has a Thanksgiving pie this year. Sarah Simpson, a local volunteer for the Monroe Food Pantry, initially launched her pie fundraiser last year to make sure that the pantry's clients didn't have to miss out on their Thanksgiving pie. This year, Simpson is once again collecting money to purchase 150 pies for residents that use that food pantry. Simpson started the fundraiser after being informed that she could not personally bake the 150 pies because the food pantry does not accept perishable items or baked goods. Those interested in donating to the pantry's pie fund may send cash or checks to the Monroe Senior Center. That's at 235 Cutlers Farm Road, and they should note on the donation that the money is intended for the pies. You can also get more information at monroecourier.com. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, John Kovach joins me. We're going to preview this week's HAN Network newspapers after this.
This is now 44 years I've been in this business. Digital came along. After I was in business for about 6 years, I had to totally reinvent the business. So I had to make a tremendous investment in my business. And Milford Bank was there for me. I don't really just consider Milford Bank a bank. I consider them a trusted partner in my business. My name is Jim Wilson, owner of Milford Photo. I choose to bank with Milford Bank.
Want to reach new heights in your fitness and health goals? Find what you're looking for at Elevation Spin, Train, and TRX in Georgetown, Connecticut. Elevation Spin gives you purposeful spinning workouts inspired by the road. We encourage monitoring of heart rate and energy zones. Elevation also offers customized personal training with dedicated professionals passionate about helping you reach your goals. And let us motivate you to reach greater performance and functionality with TRX suspension training, using your own body weight for an incredible dynamic workout. Located at 4 Old Mill Road in Georgetown, call Elevation at 203-544-9503 or visit elevationspintraintrx.com for more.
The leaves are changing, water temps dropping, and the sun is setting a little earlier each day. But there's still a lot of great boating, fishing, and coast time left before we see the first snow. And above all, remember, it's always summer at the Dock Shop. With loads of new fishing tackle and accessories, clothing, jewelry, and home decor, the Dock Shop is just what you need when you start to feel that New England autumn chill. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
This fall, explore the beautiful landscape enhanced by the architectural design and art at the Philip Johnson Glass House in New Canaan. Open for the season now through November 30th, the Glass House is a National Trust historic site that sits on 49 acres of pastoral landscape, comprised of 14 total structures, and a permanent collection of 20th century painting and sculpture, as well as temporary exhibitions. Tours are available on Sunday, Monday, and Thursdays through Saturdays. Advance reservations are recommended. Visit theglasshouse.org for more information and to get your tickets.
I'm Frank Granito.
And I'm Donald Ing for the HAN Network.
Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Thursday, where we bring you all the top stories from Connecticut sports.
From highlights to player interviews and expert analysis, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports.
Nutmeg Sports, now Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network.
Welcome back to this Thursday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, joined by our editorial director, John Kovach. The papers are out today, John. It took a lot of work this week, election time.
A lot going on in a compressed window, but
yes,
we're out there, and there's a lot more news than the election.
Right. So what are you looking at first?
I am looking at the Darien Times, where in addition to the election coverage, we learned that Calvary Baptist Church, which is one of the older churches in Darien, and Encounter Church have merged into Christ Community Church. very interesting there, but something that you're seeing with churches in the area. A local family, the Edgars, running the New York City Marathon to support the Rheumatoid Arthritis Foundation, and the town of Darien purchasing 16 1/4 acres of land for open space from the Oxbridge Hunt Club. Where are you starting out?
All right, well, I'm taking a look at the Ridgefield Press. Of course, lots of voting results that we talked about earlier this week. But John Fry, the incumbent Republican state representative, winning back his seat. And interestingly, Ridgefield going for Clinton Kane overall, but we talked about that. Now, Navy man VJ Tardino to speak at Ridgefield's Veterans Day ceremony. They always have a wonderful ceremony every year. Mac Reed talked more to this year's speaker. And this headline took me a second. I was like, what's a fencing school? I pictured like you teach people to put up fencing school as in swords and, you know, all that. But there's a fencing school filling an empty space at 21 Governor's
guard.
Street. And Ridgefield High students have a play open this weekend. The game's afoot, so very cool.
New Canaan resident Nancy McDaniels spent more than 30 years, if you can grasp that, building an 18-room dollhouse, and there are photos of that and just how detailed that is on the front page of the New Canaan Advertiser, in addition to the news that it is finding a permanent home at a museum. Very cool story there. I love the detail involved in those. Bigger number, New Canaan saw 1,400 new voters register prior to Tuesday's election. Big numbers there. And Rick Franco, who's been a great friend for some time, really a fixture in downtown New Canaan, Franco's Wine Merchants. Just a pleasure to know Rick. Rick, and I never thought I'd say these words, is stepping down from the Parking Commission, where he has helped shape policy and shape the downtown of New Canaan for decades.
All right, taking a look at the front page of the Trumbull Times, of course, some voting results there. And the Trumbull Junior Varsity Pop Warner cheerleaders, they won a regional championship and they'll be headed to Disney, so congratulations to them. And First Selectman Tim Herb saying that it's a historically good time to move forward on building a community center in Trumbull. And, you know, another high school production coming up this weekend, definitely worth checking out, Love Sick at Trumbull High Auditorium.
In Stratford, in addition to the election coverage, some really big news there in that they have found Raymark waste at the exit 33 interchange site. That is where they are building that new exit that was planned. If you notice, there's a gap in the numbers there. They're trying to add that exit as part of the Moses Wheeler Bridge project, but now they have found waste that is identical to what has been found at other Raymark sites. Coverage of the Vicky Soto 5K. She was a Stratford High alum, slain at Sandy Hook in Newtown. And the community, the First Baptist Church building a community center at its Stratford Avenue location.
All right, taking a look at the Reading pilot. School superintendent trying a new method for presenting the budget. Obviously can be a tricky thing for people to digest, so they're coming up with a new plan for that this time around. And the Board of Education saying that their finance director violated some policies when moving money between accounts without seeking board approval there. Of course, Reading vote totals and two champions in Reading, both the Joel Barlow High School girls soccer team and girls volleyball team, won their respective Southwest Conference championships last week. So congratulations to them.
Wilton will be among the towns honoring its veterans on Friday. Coverage of that in the Wilton Bulletin, in addition to a visit by an award-winning actress, Jane Alexander, who will discuss her new book and her work on conservation, and a discussion of approaching end-of-life issues being held by the visiting nurse and hospice of Fairfield County, and that will be in a Brubeck room at the Wilton Library.
All right, taking a look at the Weston Forum, some big news breaking this week, and that's that the high school football coach at Weston High, Chris Case, resigning after allegedly making an inappropriate comment to players. The school would still keep him on as a physical education teacher, they say, with some retraining going on and supervision. So interesting story there by Rocco Veluzzo. And a nice voting photo, kind of getting kids used to...
Yeah, it's like those shots are always
right,
great.
Very cool, bringing your kids to the polls so they can kind of see that. Weston man is unknowing subject of a classic Harry Chapin song. have to
gotta
read more
read
on
that.
that. Yeah, and
Gotta
a
read that.
Northfield tree public hearing is tonight. I know there's been a lot of people interested in that.
In Shelton, that's another of the towns that is going to honor its veterans this weekend. And also news that Shelton is taking its time to fill the full-time police chief role. They have an interim in place, but Aaron Berkowitz did some talking and some research and exploring as to why they haven't hired a full-time replacement yet. And a great story about a 9-year-old boy from Seymour who is collecting food for hungry children. And he's 1,400 pounds he's donated to Spooner House in Shelton. He's collected 1 ton.
That's awesome.
Of donated food. Great job there by Sam Rodriguez.
Very cool. Now, I have to say, the Easton Courier came through with some great dogs at the polls photos this week. So good job by Nancy Doniger there. Johnny Winter All-Star Band coming November 19th to Fairfield. Nancy did a story on that. Very cool that a veterans event raised $130,000 for an Easton-based nonprofit. Into the Woods coming to Joel Barlow High School, and group marking a decade of energy action in the area.
Milford has, in addition to election results, a big food drive this weekend in addition to its annual Salute to Vets, which they do in advance. That was done on Sunday in Milford. So some very good photos from that, plus discussion of creating a walkable downtown, part of a transit-oriented development area, which really would fit in with Milford, the train station being right there.
All right, well, taking a look at the front page of the Monroe Courier, of course, some election results. Candidate Elaine Hammer standing with just newly re-elected State Representative J.P. Strzynski. And a feature story on Monroe coming together for a Massac teacher after his wife was diagnosed with cancer. Story we just spoke about on Coffee Break, which is collecting pies for Thanksgiving for the Monroe Food Pantry, and a nonprofit donating a canine vest to Monroe Police.
We're living on sponge cake in the arts and leisure section.
Nice.
With Judy and Joy talking about family favorite sponge cake recipe, and let's be the first to say 'tis the season.
Oh, I love this.
We're coming up on the festival in Ridgefield, the Founders Hall Wreath Festival, the Guild of Artists Festive Home, and the Ridgefield Women's Club Craft Fair will be. I just love Christmas season
so
and
beautiful.
the ornaments and the decorations. Just one of my favorite time of year.
Right,
really
and
is.
the cool thing about that Ridgefield Guild of Artists one is it's so gorgeous and you can go in there and buy everything.
Yes, you
So
can.
there's some great unique gifts there by local artists, so definitely check it out.
You can buy a lot there.
Yes,
and you can get in a lot of trouble real quick.
I once bought a reindeer made out of newspaper with like glitter and gold all over it
think
that
I've
I
seen
put out
that
every
there.
year. I love it. It's perfect for us.
I have
you know?
seen that there. They have some great stuff, very creative stuff. It's definitely worth the trip.
Very cool. All right, well, John, you have Yankee Fisherman coming up at 1 o'clock today?
We do. We catch up with Fishy Fulham, our old friend, Fly Tyer. He's got a big seminar coming up at the International Fly Tying Symposium in New Jersey. We also talk with the guys from Back in the Mainstream, and that's Maine with an E. They are veterans working with veterans to promote fishing and related activities as a way of therapy, emotional and physical. Really cool stuff that they're doing.
That's awesome. All right, that's coming up at 1 o'clock. Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. We're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. We'll be bringing you some news tomorrow, but not at the normal time since we're going to be setting up at Tiger Hollow for the big football game tomorrow night. So we'll see you later.